Hey, welcome to Alien Meatballs. This is my channel all about board games with a heavy focus on solo board gaming. I play solo board games pretty much every night, and I play a lot of games with my family too, and game group from time to time. This video is going to be the top games that I've been playing over the past week. So let's get right into it. The first game that I played, I'm going to start with First Rat, because this one is, if you watch my other video, this is one of the games that was on my list of games to play. So we'll start with it. Alright, so First Rat. This game is for 1 to 5 players, and I only played it solo, so that's all I'm really speaking on. And it has a really good solo mode, which I'll talk about in a second. So the theme of the game is you're a group of rats, you live in this, or you're in this junkyard, and you're trying to collect a bunch of junk and build a rocket, and then fly your rocket to the moon because you heard the moon was made out of cheese, and you want to go get that cheese. Makes sense. It's a cute theme. Artwork is pretty fun. The mechanics of the game, they're like light to medium mechanics, but there's some good decisions to make. So basically, you start off with 2 rats, and you can, on your turn, you can either move 1 rat like 5 spaces. I might forget the exact amount of spaces, like 5 spaces though, or you can move both of your rats up to 3 spaces. So that's your first decision you got to make each turn, and then the board is it's just spaces going all the way to the end, like a big kind of like racetrack till you get all the way to the end to the rocket. And every space you land on is going to let you collect either a different kind of resource or like these light bulbs. And so what you're trying to do is either collect resources, and then you can trade those resources in for points. And then there's all these like little different tracks, and it's kind of a little bit of a race. The first person to like achieve certain resource collections are going to get more points on each of those tracks. Then there's these light bulbs that you can get on certain spaces, and there's a secondary track that runs kind of along with your track. And the higher that goes up, it's almost like light engine building, because the higher that is, it'll make all of the spaces before that light bulb, when you land on them, are worth a little bit more. And then there's another track that you can move on, and you can, I believe that one was spending cheese, I think, but you're spending one of the other decisions you're making is to go around this other track, and if you go around it far enough, one, you can get points that way, or you can get your other rats. You can get a total of 4 rats. And so you're trying to get your other rats out so you can go get even more points. And it's really cool, like playing and figuring out when to get certain resources, like which track to go up on. And the solo mode is cool too. It's just a deck of cards. It actually uses like rats, and the cards just tell you how far they're moving. And it's very simple, and it works good. I won on, I think I played it like 3 times in a row. I won the first game, and then I played it 2 more times on a difficult level, and I lost both, but like very close. So it's fun. I like it. Definitely plan to play this one more, and definitely solo. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I heard people liked it, but I don't know. Light to medium doesn't always have a lot of oomph in it, but this one's pretty good. But yeah, that's First Rat, and it's by Pegasus Spiel. Okay, this game is Summer Camp. Now this one I did not play solo. I don't think it has a solo mode. This one I played with my wife. Summer Camp is it's a deck building game, and it's a very like simple, clear-cut deck building. You're using deck building mechanics to go up on these 3 different tracks, try to get to the end of these tracks faster, collect your points, and win. So we had played this game when it first came out, maybe like a year ago, and I played it. I learned it. I played it. I taught he was my 5-year-old son, I think, at the time, and he learned it easy enough. That was his first introduction to deck building. And then I taught my wife. It was her first introduction to deck building. They both liked it. For me, it was like, I liked it, but just like a little too simple, because it's kind of just clear-cut deck building. I never was really hungry to play it again. But for whatever reason, I was itching to play it the other night. We were looking for a game to play, so we played it, and I had a lot more fun than I remembered. It was kind of fun, like trying to like strategize, and it's a good, solid, simple deck builder, and the theme is fun, and it's cool too. So you have these like in the box, when you play a game, you have like 7 different boxes of themes. Like some are like games, cooking, hiking, just different stuff like that. And you're gonna pick the 3 boxes that you want to play with, and then you mix those cards together with your and use your base deck. That's not exactly how it's set up, but you're using those boxes while you're playing the game. And so if you play it again, you can use different boxes, so you can switch it out. You're not always using the same cards, and that also means they could easily expand on this. So I don't know how well it did, but they could easily put out more expansions if they wanted to, and they could easily put out expansions that like made it more complicated too, for if they wanted to. But as a lighter deck builder, it is good at what it is, and I do think we'll keep it around for a while. It'll be a good one to play with my family. But essentially what you're doing, so it's a pretty straightforward deck building. You have 3 tracks. You each have a little hiker on each track, and some of your cards are letting you move, and basically like as you move, some spaces have little bonuses, and it's almost like a little bit of a race. Like whoever passes a certain point on each track first is going to collect these little badges, and the first person to get a badge is going to get the higher point badge. The next person across gets the lower point badge, and then the first person to get to the end of the track is going to get the higher point badge, and that's essentially it. And yeah, but it's pretty cool. Very light, but it is fun. And if you're looking for an introduction to deck building, I would highly recommend this. If you're a bunch of hardcore gamers and you've played a lot of deck building, not sure I would recommend it. Like I said, it didn't really give me a lot to play, but it is fun enough. So it's probably that good like blend of non-gamery to gamery, and still being able to enjoy and strategize, and good introduction to deck building. I'll leave it. That's a good way to leave it, I think. All right, so that's summer camp. Okay, so this one is Damage Control by WizKids. I had not heard of this one. I saw this one when I went over to my local game shop, or one of them, the Printed Meeple. It's like 2 minutes from my house. It's very dangerous, but awesome shop. If you're ever in San Antonio, you should definitely check them out. So this game, the theme and the artwork is what drew me in. I saw it was deck building. It's kind of unique. It's like, cool, let's try it. I'm mixed on this one. So I like it. The core of the game, and you can play true solo. So the core of the game, let me tell you about it, and then I'll tell you. Okay, so you have this. Oh my gosh, the theme of the game is that so superheroes and bad guys are battling and stuff, and then when they're done, it leaves all this wreckage and stuff, right? So the theme of this game is we're cleaning up all of that mess. So while you're playing, you have this little square, and this is like all the rubble, all the trash, and you have a bunch of cards there. They start mostly face down with a couple face up. These are rubble cards, and you'll be digging through this rubble to clean it up, and that's essentially how you're adding cards to your deck also. And then you have a row of cards that are characters that you can recruit and kind of add onto your team to help you keep cleaning up. And so what you're trying to do is essentially collect points. Now, while you're playing, see how to explain this. On your turn, you have this little bar, and you're gonna play cards. Your cards have different symbols which equate to actions. So you play a card, and you can either like flip over cards in the rubble pile to like see what they are, or you can use like a little magnet to collect those cards and add them straight into your hand. You can play them right away. You can destroy some of those cards and just get like these money points for them. So you can just straight throw them to the trash and collect some money. And then there's these artifact cards. And artifact cards, you can play them. They do like little special abilities, and then you can play a vault card. And when you play the vault card, that lets you take a card from your hand. And a lot of cards in your hands have a point value on them. You can take that card and you place it in the vault, you cannot use that card anymore for the rest of the game, but that's how you collect points. So you have to be doing that to collect your points, but the timing of it is crucial because these are your cards that are also powerful, especially the ones that are worth a lot of points. So figuring that out, like this core of this game is really cool. And so say like I play a magnet card and it has like a little magnet symbol on it, and some of your cards will have multiple symbols. Like maybe I can play this card as either a magnet or as like a rubble flipper rubber card. Well, then you have this little like dashboard, and it has like columns with those symbols. You're gonna pick, if I play it as a magnet, I gotta play my card into that magnet column. Same thing for like all of those actions. They each go into a certain column. So when you're done playing all of your cards, you're now going to have the cards you played in these columns representing the certain actions. And then you're going to recruit characters. All of the characters have symbols on them, and the symbols are referencing the different action symbols and some of the artifact symbols. So the cards that you played to your dashboard, you now will pull them off of your dashboard and basically spend the symbols on your cards to recruit characters. So it's really cool. So while you're playing your deck building game, you're playing your actions to do things, but you're also thinking about which actions you want to play, because that's going to allow you to recruit certain characters. And then you can only have 3 characters at a time, and all of your characters have like a little special ability. Some of them are ongoing, but a lot are like one-off. Once you do it, it's spent, and then they're also worth points at the end of the game. And then whenever you want, you can like just retire those characters. You're not going to get points off of them anymore, but it makes room and you can recruit a new character. That is essentially the core of the game, and it's really good. I liked it. I was playing the game, I'm like, man, this is fun. Like I would recommend it. Then as I got closer to the end of the game, I started realizing, oh wait, like there's a big problem. There's and this is in solo. In multiplayer, I don't think this issue would be there, although I haven't played it, but I'll touch on that in a minute. So in solo, it's lacking a true tension. So one of the things you can do when you're playing is you can just discard your cards out of your hand and get collect money coins for them that you can spend, and there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And in solo, there's no true tension. So if I could technically, if I wanted to break the game legally, I could just trash all my cards, collect all my coins, next turn, do it again. I could do that forever and collect all the coins in the game. Well, at the end of the game, coins are a form of points too. Like every 3 coins is 1 point. So that's already broken. You could just sit there and do it because there's no automatic tension or timer. So they kind of missed that in the solo version. But let's say you don't play like that. Let's say you just play the game. There is a partial timer when you're playing. As you flip over those rubble cards, they I think most of them or all of them have a little event that will happen, and one of the events is that you have to draw a new character card. Well, there can only be 5 characters out in that little display, so when you add one in, if there's 5, one gets discarded. And so that's going to kind of set a little bit of a timer, because when the characters pile is gone, that ends the game, or when the rubble pile is gone, that ends the game. So it will eventually end, but if you want to, like I said, you can kind of control that. You can get all your coins you want. So it's kind of messed up. So the solo out of the box has a big flaw. Because of that, I don't think I could recommend it. But it sucks because the core is, like, the game is fun. And so I imagine in playing multiplayer, that problem is probably not there because of the natural competition. People are doing things you're naturally gonna. No one's just gonna. You're not like, I'm not gonna let you just sit there and collect coins the whole game. I'm gonna start taking all the good cards. So it works out. But in solo. So anyways, what I ended up doing though is I did create a really makeshift solo variant, and it worked pretty good. Essentially, maybe I'll write it up, but essentially what I did is every turn I would roll a die, and 1 through 5, whatever it rolled, I would take that character card. It would automatically leave the lineup, and it goes into the AI's pile. And at the end of the game, that's all of his points. And I only played it twice like that, but it worked out pretty close. The points were really close to where, it would require way more testing. I think the first time, I don't know, there was a little bit of one time there was like a 15-point gap, one time there was like a 1-point gap between us, but it does work and it was fun. And I actually, because I have the game, I think I will keep playing it like that every now and then, because I like the core so much, and I'll keep testing it. And And I might post those rules too, so if anybody else who's into like designing a little bit maybe wants to help me tweak those rules out a little bit, because there's a really good game here. And yeah, and I think that quick, like really fast solo variant I came up with has some really good potential, especially with some tweaking and different things, and it's fast too. So damage control, definitely worth keeping an eye on for multiplayer. Without playing it, I would suggest, yeah, it's probably gonna highlight play in multiplayer. And for solo, if you're really easygoing and maybe you want to try the solo variant, you're not too worried about the winning or losing, it's worth it because the core play is fun. But I'd say for real right now, this one is a good one to just like watch and see how solo variants pop up, either if mine gets more solidified or if someone else comes up with a better one. Damage Control by WizKids. Legacy of You by Garfield Games. This one is solo only, and it's campaign only. Essentially, I guess you could technically play the game, but this one it's really campaign only, and it's balanced around the campaign. So what you're gonna play multiple games, and if like as you win or lose, if you win, it's gonna add in cards that make it a little harder, and if you lose, it's gonna add in cards that make it a little easier. So that's what really starts to make it fun. It's balancing it out based on how well you're doing. And it even says in the rule book, like, play in that first game and it will start balancing it out to your skill level. So this game, if you've played Garfield games before, like the ones I've played are like Paladins. Architects of the West Kingdom, Paladins of the West Kingdom, Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Those Raiders of the North Sea. So those are the ones that I have played. But so it's made by the same people that did that. What you're doing, it's a deck building game, and so the theme is there's this river running through like your little area, and there's a big waterfall like rush or like wave that's rushing through. It's gonna just destroy everything. Too much water is rushing through, and you have to build these little canals and channel the water out to like strategically where it needs to go. And so while you're playing, you're doing deck building, and on your turn you'll have a hand of cards. At the beginning of every turn, you have the harvest phase. It shows this little harvest symbol, and you'll go through and collect all your workers and resources that you so far get during the harvest phase. As you play, you'll start unlocking more symbols that give you more stuff during the harvest phase. So it's cool because it's deck building and some like worker placement, but you don't just have a set amount of workers, and it's different each round. You have to play your cards to collect these workers, and then you're also spending your workers as you go. So it's ever changing. So you have your board, and you have the river in the middle. Your main goal, the river has like these cards on it, making it look like a river, and then you have this barge that's moving along it. What you're trying to do is keep building your canals in like each section of the river, and once you build a canal, you lift the card up, and then that shows the artwork of the canal like you built it, and then your barge will advance. And you want to advance that barge and do that through the whole river, get to the end of the board, and then that's how you're going to win. What's making it hard is every time you make it through your whole deck of cards that starts out, I think like 10 cards or something, every time you flip through your deck of cards and have to reshuffle, that wave is advancing another section too. So it's constantly on your tail. So there's a timer, the pressure is on, and then at the top of the board, you have these little villagers that you can recruit. That's how you're going to add more cards to your deck. And then in the same line at the right hand side, you have these barbarians, and you have to like spend workers to fight those barbarians. At the end of each turn, any barbarian still there, they're going to attack you and like take some of your resources and stuff. So when it starts off, you have way more villagers at the top that you can recruit, and like one barbarian. But as you go down the river, the further you go down the river, the more barbarians come out at the end of each turn. And so it slowly starts transitioning to where you have less villagers up at the top and more barbarians up there that you have to deal with. And the timing gets really tense because like, well, I really need to build that next canal, but it sucks because as soon as I build that next canal, more barbarians are coming out. I'm not quite ready to fight that. It feels very tense. I had a really hard time like the first, even second time I played. The last game that I played, I finally figured, I don't know if it's like the strategy, but I at least figured out a strategy that let me feel more in control, and I felt like I was not just completely getting pummeled the whole time. This game is really fun, and I like it. At the bottom of the board, you have these little houses that you can build, and so if you build a house, you flip over, you remove a card, and it gives you like a new spot where you can place workers to collect different kinds of resources. You have these little farms and other buildings you can build. You're collecting lots of resources and workers. Essentially what you're doing, collecting resources, collecting different colored workers, and then spending those resources and workers to either build the canals, build these little buildings that will help you like engine build a little bit, fight off barbarians. So balancing out all your resources and colored workers, limited colored workers, to do all these different things and manage it. It's that's the game right there. And what's cool too is you have these spots on the bottom you can tuck. Like all your cards are multi-use, so all of them have like some resources you can use to spend them on the left, or the bottom you can use them to tuck under your board if you have a spot available, and that will add an action, or that will add like something that you get during that beginning harvest phase. So that's how you can get more stuff each at the beginning of each turn. The game is really good. And then also as your different cards, especially as you go around like the canal or like building on the canal, you'll flip over cards and there will be these little symbols that tell you to go read a little snippet in the storybook. And then in the storybook, you'll read your little story and flavor. It's more than just flavor text, like little paragraphs. And it will add, there's a deck of like story cards that will get added into the game. So as you're playing through this campaign, it's like evolving and telling the story, and it's really cool. It's fun. I like this one a lot, and I definitely recommend it. I think any solo player that likes like Euro games, and especially if you've played any of like the other Garfield games in any of their like trilogy series, if you like those styles and you're a solo player, then you should just try this one. I think there's a safe bet you're probably going to like it. All right, Legacy of You. All right, so this one is The Loop by Pandasaurus Games. This game is it's a deck building game, and I love this game. This game is really fun. This might be my favorite deck builder game. It's so thinky and puzzly, a little like Pandemic-y, but like so much better. So basically you have this board, and it's got sections, and you can like move around whatever direction you want, but it's broken down into these like sections. And then on the outside of each section, there's these little, they each have like a different mission. They'll have these objectives that you're trying to accomplish. And there's this little cube tower in the middle of the board, and that thing will be spinning around during the game and dropping cubes around. If too many red cubes end up into one section, that little mission tile gets destroyed. You can no longer do that mission, and then that's one tile against you. And if too many of those tiles get destroyed before you accomplish the correct amount of those missions, you lose the game. So the whole theme is based on like time travel, and it's like, so Dr. Foe is, I think it's Dr. Foe Strikes Back, but so Dr. Foe is the bad guy, and these are all like different eras, like all the different sections. I believe those are like all the different eras, but you're essentially trying to move through the different sections, keep those red cubes from piling up too much, and then doing your missions, which the missions might say like remove a red cube from each different section. Well, the other thing that's going on is you have clones. It's like all of Dr. Foe's little clones. They're like little discs, and they're going to have like symbols and match certain sections. So like this clone might match this, just can call it like the green section, blue section, red section. It's like that. So you'll have these clones in different sections. So hold on to that thought for a minute. And then it's deck building, right? So the way you're doing actions on your turn, you're going to have your hand of cards. Your cards are letting you do things like move to an adjacent section, remove a red cube from your section, slide one clone from your section to any adjacent section, like stuff like that. The only way you can destroy clones is by pushing them into a section of their color. If they slide into a section that is their matching color, that clone gets destroyed. Well, when too many clones pile up in sections, that's what's making more and more red cubes come out. So you've got to keep those clones contained, or else more red cubes come out. Too much and it becomes too much. Then what's really cool, that's already really cool. Honestly, if it was just that, I think I'd still already love the game. But to top it all off, while you're playing, like on your turn, all of your cards have these little symbols at the top. These little like time travel symbols. There's these little green cubes out on the board. If you're on a space with a green cube, you can spin that green cube, and you can do I forget what it's called, but you're doing like a loop. You're doing a loop just like that, and it lets you take as many of your cards that you've played that all have the same matching symbols. You pick one symbol, and those cards that you played, bring them back in your hand, and you can play them again. It's really good. Like, it is so fun. Man, like if you like puzzly stuff and you like deck building and you like, I don't know, zany cartoony stuff, even the artwork, like take it or leave it, I don't know, like it's not my favorite kind of artwork, but because it's so colorful and fun, the vibe, I love it. This game is really good, and the solo mode is really good too. You basically play as 3 characters, but it's done really well. It doesn't feel like controlling 3 characters. They put a lot of thought into it. You mix your whole deck up, like you take 3 characters. All the characters have their own decks. So you pick your 3 characters you're gonna play as, shuffle them all into one big deck, and then you have this like little dashboard. It's like 3 columns. Each column is representing one of those characters. You're gonna just flip over your cards and put them in the column of whatever character it matches. And then some of the cards don't match a character. They're cards that you've collected throughout the game, because you can, as you're completing missions and doing stuff, you can gain more cards, and it's true deck building to add them into your deck and get these like really fun, powerful cards. But going back to like the deal, so like after your turn, you're taking your cards and flipping them over your deck and putting them in these columns, and then whichever character has 3 cards in their column first, that's the character you're playing as next. You collect those 3 cards. That's your hand, and then you play. And so it's really cool. You're controlling the 3 characters, but only 1 per turn, and you just keep on going. So you don't know exactly what character you're going to get to play next, but you also have a little control while using those cards that don't have symbols. This game is so good. So good. I really, really like this game. Highly, highly recommend it. The Loop by Pandasaurus. Okay, and the last game that I've been playing this past week, Undaunted Reinforcements. So the core game is Undaunted Normandy, which I also have. And then Reinforcements. This is the Reinforcements box. This is an expansion that allows you to play solo. Very robust solo by David Turksey. Like it's a lot. Like the design is a lot. It's very easy to play through, but so if you play it, like if this interests you and you don't have it, you have to get Undaunted Normandy, or maybe like I think there's other ones like Africa, but you have to get like I think one of those. I'm pretty sure you can't play this by itself. Like I could be wrong, but I think you have to have one of those core boxes, and then you get the Undaunted Reinforcements. So the game is it's a war game, and it's also deck building. And I didn't play in that, but I really do like deck building a lot. So this is a war game, deck building war game, and you have different tiles out on the board. So all of your maps will be different because you have like modular tile setup, and then you don't have minis. You have like little cardboard tokens that represent like your riflemen and your scouts and your just like all your different characters. And so when you're playing, so at the beginning of your turn, you're gonna draw 4 cards, and all of your cards like represent one of your units that is out on the board or on the map. And each of your cards also has a number on the top, which is your initiative number. The higher the number, the higher the initiative. So I'm gonna pick one of my cards, and for the initiative only, and then the AI. And I've only played this solo, so. I'm just going to describe like the solo game. So the AI, you flip over their card for them, and it's going to show their initiative. And whoever has the higher number, they're going to go first. And then you have to trash that card. So like that's already kind of a tough decision too, because I might really want to go first to make sure I can do what I got to do before he messes everything up. But to go first, you need to play the higher initiative, and then that might be a card that I really wanted to play. But so whatever I play as my initiative card, that goes into my discard pile, and now I have my 3 cards left that I'm going to play. Okay, so let's say it's my turn, then I'm going to play my cards, and it's going to let me move my units around, and you're trying to control these different objective points. I've only played the first 4 scenarios. I played this game, I think, like maybe a year ago when I first got it. Played it a couple times. I liked it, but I just got too many games. And then I played it 4 times this past week. I started the campaign. It's not a campaign, but I started over from the beginning and played through 4 scenarios. And I really hope that I play it again before I put it away and forget about it, because I haven't got to play with the mortar people yet. So even though it's not a campaign, the scenarios still go kind of linear and keep adding in like new people. Like it starts you off kind of simple, then it added in some snipers, and I see that there's mortars too, and I want to add them in. And some of the other expansion boxes have like vehicles. But yeah, so I play, going back to the game, you play your units, move them around, try to control objective points. There could be other different scenarios too that do more stuff than that, but like the ones that I've played are mostly holding down certain kinds of objective points. And then the AI is going to do theirs. So the way the AI works, every scenario in the different boxes, there's a deck of cards. It's like this, and there will be a different set of cards for each character used in each scenario. So you'll say, okay, I'm playing in scenario 1. Let me go find the rifleman for scenario 1, the scouts for scenario 1, and you go through all of them. And then David Turksey, the solo designer, did like this pretty simple little but it's like a flowchart, but a very simple little AI flowchart for each of those characters. So on the AI's turn, you're just gonna say, okay, you flip over your card. It's the when they're controlling the riflemen, you'll look at what riflemen do, kind of go down the little list and do what the riflemen do. If you don't like like solo modes with like flowcharts, even though it's simple and very good, then you probably just won't like it, because you do spend time figuring out what the AI is gonna do. There's no way around it. It takes a little time. But as flowcharts go, like if you're not completely against them, I do consider it like pretty smooth. It doesn't, you'll know if you like that or not. But it has little flowcharts. It works really well. It's fun. I feel tension, and it's good, and I like it. They have. This is the only one I think they've done so far that has solo, and I can see why, because it's to do like really good solo. Each scenario has its own little flowcharts for each character, so it's very well thought out for each scenario. It's really good though if you want a solo deck building war game that's not too difficult but still like pretty fun, like lots of decisions to make. It's really good. It's Undaunted. Undaunted Normandy, there's Undaunted Africa, there's a bunch more too, and they even got more coming out. But Undaunted Reinforcements, you have to have that one. Pretty sure this is the only one that has solo, but this is the one that this comes with the solo deck of cards to do that part. So all right, yeah, those are the games I've been playing this week. Man, I feel like I played a lot, and I've even like been getting into a couple of video games too, like the Company of Heroes video game just came out, and I just downloaded that last night and was playing it. And Age of Wonders, I've been playing some of those. Oh, a couple other like honorable mention board games I played that I didn't, a little lighter. We did a family barbecue this past weekend, and we played Monstrosity. That was pretty cool. Someone's looking at a picture and trying to describe to everybody what this crazy picture looks like, then everyone has to draw it, and then you got to pick whoever did the best. I'm not going too much details on these ones, but Monstrosity. And then they're party games. And then there was another party game. I think it was called Meme It, but it's kind of like Apples to Apples or like Cards Against Humanity, except for you're looking at a meme, and then everyone has their cards and plays the card that matches the most. But those are both pretty fun for party games. But yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate the support. My subscriber count is going up. When I started the channel, I had just, you don't know. I remember thanking my 2 subscribers in one of my videos like a week or so ago, and now I have like 200 subscribers, and that is truly amazing. I'm so thankful for that. And I love all the comments that I've been getting, all the feedback, tips to try to help make my channel better, just general chit chat about games, the recommendations. I love it. Like, yes, tell me more and more. Like, I got a problem, I got too many games, and I would happily get more. So yes, I'm very thankful for your recommendations. And I mean, that's really what I envisioned with this. I just wanted to talk about board games, chat about games, and super awesome. So thank you all so much for watching. This is fun. I like it. I hope that y'all are still liking it. If you're watching, I imagine you are. And I'll keep pumping these out. And I think these weekly videos are one, it's at least one that I plan on doing, because I play so many games. It's an easy one for me to do. Just play games and then talk about the ones I just played. And then I really like one of the comments I got was that like everybody watches top 10 lists, and it's probably true. I know I love them. That's like, I go through YouTube and just I watch every top 10 board game list I can find. That just gives me a lot of information in a short amount of time. They're entertaining and fun, and so I plan to do a lot of top 10 lists too, because that's what I like to watch, and I'd like to make them too and just do different kinds of lists. But that's my plan for right now. But if anybody who's enjoying the channel has anything they'd like, y'all would like to see me do, let me know. I'll take, can't promise I'm gonna do them, but I would love to hear your requests. But yeah, so thank you all very much for watching. Channel's Alien Meatballs. My name is Clarence, and see you later.